Continue to pour in. Let's begin by getting a government class refresher. Brennan, as we know, the United States uses the Electoral College to pick the president. But what is that and how does it work?
Yeah, Mariah, it's a simple fact that it's easily forgotten. The winner of the presidential election isn't picked based on how many votes a nominee gets. It comes down to the Electoral College. But how does the Electoral College actually work? Let's take a closer look. Why does the United States use the Electoral College to pick the president? The founding fathers were split. Should Congress choose the president or should it be left to the people? The use of electors was the solution. When you cast your vote for president, you're deciding which electors will represent your state. The number of electors in each state is determined by how many seats in Congress the state has, and that number is based on the state's population. So, for example, let's look at California. Every state has 2 senators. So right off the bat, that's 2 electors. California, the most populous state, has 52 representatives in the House. So the Golden State gets 54 total electors. Whichever candidate wins, California gets all 54 electoral votes. There are 538 total electoral votes, 535 for the state and 3 for the District of Columbia. 48 states are winner-take-all. Maine and Nebraska give 2 electoral votes to the statewide winner and 1 for the winner of each congressional district. A simple majority of 270 electoral votes is needed to win. If neither candidate gets to 270, the House of Representatives will determine the president, but each state delegation, regardless of the number of electors, must vote as one. So there are only 50 votes up for grabs. The Senate will determine the vice president with a simple majority vote of all 100 senators. The popular vote winner has lost the Electoral College in 2 of the last 6 elections, and that has prompted calls to switch the popular vote system, but that requires a constitutional amendment.
All right, let's get a quick check on the presidential race. Now, keep in mind, even though polls have closed here in the state of Texas, we're still waiting for results in several states along the West Coast. In California, polls close at 10 p.m. Hawaii closes polls at 11 p.m. and Alaska voters have until midnight to cast their ballots. Now, here's what it's looking like right now. Kamala Harris at 45% of the votes and Donald Trump has 54% of the votes.
And like we told you at the top of this streaming, that Donald Trump actually just won the state of Texas. We'll, of course, be following that race. On this election day, it's not just the presidency being decided, but also the balance of power in